The national media has pretty much moved on from Starmer's power grab in the northeast. Who cares if a sitting mayor is blocked for spurious reasons? They're left-wing anyway. That's what you can hear out of SW1 at the moment. However, local media still does seem interested in local democracy. Jamie Driscoll, so that's the current mayor of North of Tyne, who's been blocked from standing to be North East mayor, was interviewed on the BBC's Politics North on the weekend.
It's actually really quite shocking, isn't it? I'm a mayor in power. Everybody across politics says that I do this without playing daft political games. We've got a really good track record of delivery and have been working with a Tory government to get billions of pounds for our region. And now to be told that I'm good enough to be a mayor, but I'm not good enough to be a candidate for mayor. Where's the logic in that? All we're asking for is to let local members here make that decision.
The fact is you shared a platform with Ken Loach, a man expelled for Labour because of his views on anti-Semitism or supporting people who had views on anti-Semitism that were seen as unacceptable. Wasn't that a huge mistake?
Let's challenge this. Ken Loach was not expelled for anti-Semitism. All I did was...
Well, he supported people who left the party and would not support the Labour's policy on that.
Let's not get into the arguments of processes about someone else, but I think that is contested. What I did was talk to Ken Loach at the Live Theatre about films and about arts and life in general, not about politics, certainly not about anything to do with the Labour Party. And your channel, the BBC, has funded his latest film. We've had on Look North a load of interviews with Ken Loach. Nobody in our region remotely believes that that is promoting anti-Semitism in any way. It's a smokescreen. And this has been going on for a long time. We've seen a pattern of behaviour of people across the Labour Party being taken out because they support the policies that Keir Starmer was elected as Labour leader on. What I'm asking for is just to let the members decide. Why don't we let them make that judgment? Why is it people in London Labour HQ taking me out?
Close Starmer ally Jenny Chapman was on the same show defending Labour's position.
Politics isn't always fair. Sometimes this is about getting the best outcome for the people of the North East. It's not about an internal row within the Labour Party.
OK, but the pattern Jamie Driscoll mentioned pattern of behaviour, and it's not just this election, isn't it? We've had resignations in Sedgefield, we've had resignations in Copeland over candidates from the left effectively being excluded. It does feel a bit Stalinist, doesn't it? I mean, there was mention, I think, there's reports at 2 Labour Party meetings this week of members being told they shouldn't mention Jamie Driscoll on legal advice, and anyone bringing up his name would face disciplinary action.
This is about getting the right outcome for the people of the North East.
And even stifling debate. I mean, Labour's supposed to be fighting for democracy all the time, but within its own party, it's saying, don't even mention this man's name.
No, look, I mean, the Labour Party is all about winning this election so we can have a champion for the North East who can deliver for people in their communities. That's what this is about. If people want to join a debating society or have a chat about this or that individual, then they're welcome to do that. But that's not what the Labour Party is for.
Apparently not in these Labour Party meetings. They can't even talk about it.
That is not what the Labour Party is for, Richard. Sincerely, this region has been through so much over recent years. We need to have a leader in the region who can be that champion for us here. And if the Labour Party has to upset a few people and tread on some toes in order to get there, then I support that.
So the party members' views here, who are equally passionate...
I'm a party member.
Yeah, I know, but you're one, aren't they? There's thousands who've not gained a chance to have a say.
They will get their say and they can choose their candidate, and then we get out there and we campaign behind that candidate and we win that election. That's what really matters.
They will get their say. They just can't choose the candidate who's the current sitting mayor because they're a bit too left-wing for Keir Starmer's liking. That's what democracy in the Labour Party currently means. Also very interesting. The very beginning of that clip says sometimes things aren't fair. You can say that about sort of like coincidence and pure chance. Yeah, sometimes, you fall over, you break your leg before a concert you really wanted to go to. Yeah, sometimes life isn't fair, but this isn't an act of God. I mean, Keir Starmer might think he's God, but this is not what we normally think of as an act of God. This is a conscious political decision from people at the top of the party that say, well, life's not always fair. Right? Well, maybe you should make it as fair as you can make it instead of making it actively more unfair than it already is, which is what the people at the top of the Labour Party are doing. The final nominations by the relevant constituency Labour parties for the North East mayoral election have come in. Kim McGuinness, who is the candidate favoured by Keir Starmer, 9 CLPs have nominated her, but 8 have nominated none. 3 CLPs have had no meetings. It doesn't seem like a particularly positive way for one to be selected as a mayoral candidate, which is to have the incumbent blocked for spurious reasons, and then have a bunch of people refuse to even engage in the process. Ash, I want your take. What did you make of that defense from Jenny Chapman?
I thought it was an absolutely dreadful justification for what I think is plain to see is an undemocratic intervention into a candidate selection, to just say, oh, well, life's not fair. Well, that's what you say when something is outside of your control. This is in your control. You could make this fair if you wanted to, but you've chosen not to out of pure factional interest. It's not because that's going to be any better for the region that Mayor Jamie Driscoll represents. It's not because it better serves your party membership, and it certainly doesn't serve the voters who are being denied an opportunity to cast their ballot for a man who contested and won the previous election. And one of the things that is often used as a justification for Starmerite purges, it's very rarely justified on its own moral merits, because there aren't any. It's often justified as, well, this is what you've got to do if you're serious about winning. If you're serious about winning, you've got to get the right candidates with a track record about winning. It's not about the principles, it's about gaining power. Now, that's obviously not an argument that I'm hugely into. The reason why I feel strongly about politics isn't because I'm like, I just love seeing people win. It's because I want to see them do good things with the power that they have, rather than just gain it for their own ego or personal interests or whatever. But even if you are to take that argument and say, okay, I agree with you, winning is the most important thing. Well, Jamie Driscoll does have a track record of winning. There isn't an indication that he wouldn't be successful this time around. What the Labour Party has done is yanked somebody who did the thing that they wanted to do, contest an election, and he won. He did what was expected of him. He did it well. And simply because he's aligned with a faction that the leadership doesn't like, that the leadership wants to drum out of public life, they're willing to get rid of him and replace him with somebody who might not do the same thing as him. So it's something which, even if you're not that concerned about democracy, you don't really care about voters getting a real choice, if you don't really care about constituency Labour parties and the membership getting a real choice, fine. But if you care about winning, wouldn't you want to stick with the proven winner? So I think that, yeah, it's a crap justification. And even the real justification doesn't hold water. It's basically, we don't like this guy, let's put him in the liquidating machine. It's ugly and it's horrible.